don't know why I'm squatting on that picture. Everybody else was stood up on their pictures. I'm on the toilet. Yes, so as Rob said, I'm Mike. I'm the co-founder, creative director, blah, blah, blah. But basically, I'm a designer. You call yourself all these different things in different rooms, on different calls, to different countries, but I'm just a designer. And I hope never to be an executive anything. Because in my opinion, that's when you've got too many layers in a company. But anyway. Yeah, we're a motion design studio, design and motion studio. We're designers who work in motion. It's simple, but a lot of people get confused and you need different labels, but we just apply graphic design ideologies to the world of film and visual effects, and there's a bit of branding thrown in for free. So I'll play you a few projects and then start chatting. Last one. So design's amazing because there's just no wrong way to approach it. It's as simple as that. All the other speakers who'll come on after and have been before, we all do it differently, and it's good that everyone comes from different directions, because I don't think there's another industry that's that simple or that varied. Our approach at ManvsMachine happens to be based on effectivity. We're trying to infiltrate the mainstream. We're solely focused on that. We don't do personal projects, not because we don't like personal projects, we've dedicated ourselves to being creatively fulfilled with commercial briefs. And it's a nice little challenge. And we like getting paid for it, because we need to get paid for it to keep doing it. It's as simple as that. So just going back a little bit to try and work out how I ended up having this mindset where effectivity means the world to me. This is 1988 in St. Helens, where I grew up. And that's me and my best mate Billy, skateboarding, wearing our Liverpool kits. And that's all we did every day for that summer holiday. Skateboarded, wearing our Liverpool kits. And we couldn't have been happier. I'd still be doing it now. But even then, some of the other kids were saying, you can't skateboard wearing your Liverpool kit. Well, why? And you just can't. Football and skateboarding, they're different. You're a skater or you're a footballer. It confused me then, confuses me now. So anyway, I went to school. Unfortunately, I didn't find out what graphic design was until I was 18, and I'd already left school, and I was working in a glass factory as an apprentice toolmaker. I got pretty good at welding. But then Billy's brother, Paul, he'd gone crazy and left St. Helens and gone to Manchester. And I saw him one evening, and it turned out he was doing a HND graphic design at Manchester. And I was just seeing what he was doing. I was like, what? Paul, talk to me. So anyway, I quit my engineering apprenticeship, paid Paul £30 to borrow his Art Foundation portfolio, and went in the opposite direction to Liverpool and got onto a HND graphic design course. I think they might have known, but, anyway. And then I transferred to London when I got a little bit bored of that and did a year of graphic design at Ravensbourne, got bored of that, so I moved into the moving image design course. And so, I graduated with a moving image design degree just because I get bored quickly, and I guess I'm a little bit of an opportunist in a positive way. So basically, design to me has always been a trade. I quit a trade. I got a lot of grief from my parents when I quit this apprenticeship. It was a 5-year apprenticeship. I did 2 years. And it was a big thing, We were having rows and stuff. They were like, you're giving up a good job, a trade. So, but in my mind, I was just switching trades, and I've always thought of design as a trade. And that's I think that's the reason why effectivity is how I think about it. And I love as many people as possible seeing it. And I tried to make self-initiated projects in college, and the worst shit you've ever seen. So I'm a problem solver. I respond to briefs. 7 years down the line from that, I started ManvsMachine with Tim Swift, who previously had a company called Precursor, which was my favorite little design studio. It was 3 of them, and they were sort of disbanding at the time. And I just jumped in bed with Tim, and we started ManvsMachine. So we're really lucky we had a client resource already, because Precursor were a really good studio. But we really, really adopted this idea of, and that's a little bit where the ManvsMachine comes from. It's conceptual and it's mainstream. It's considered design and it's high-end execution, always, always. And it's stupid, but it's professional, just. So it's just all about keeping this balance, and you've got to be stupid most of the time, but professional some of the time. And we've done it from day one, and it's kind of served us well ever since. It's just this idea, but it takes me back to that. When we were starting the company, people were like, but which are you? Are you a graphic design agency, or are you a production company, or a visual effects house? It's just like, it doesn't matter. You can ride a fucking skateboard wearing a Liverpool kit. So we're all about design by doing, and by that I mean we just love the doing part. That's the only reason we do it, because that's how we come up with most of the stuff we do and our ideas. We don't sit and procrastinate and talk for hours and point at Post-its on the wall. We get just enough of a seed, and then we just go for it. There's 16 of us at ManvsMachine at the moment, and it's great because everyone's from different backgrounds, and that's how we treat clients as well. We don't go too in-depth. We'll do just enough concept and ideas to get buy-in or win a pitch. And then we'll just invite the client along on this ride with us where we design as we go along, basically. And there's always an idea, obviously. You need to get a little bit of that in there. But it's not everything. The execution is a big part of it for us. So this, is that playing? Yeah. This is the original test for the 4.7 idents and rebrand that we did. So the rationalization for this was that it's another way of looking at Channel 4. It's a constant 24-hour looping best of service, so you're just constantly going round. And this is a test with a phone camera on a desk, and it's not visual effects, it's just a split screen. You just record a 180-degree arc and then remove the middle section, and it does this. And little things like that are really, really pleasing. So this is what we showed them. We got the job 2 months later, and about 250 grand. And you're doing it on a slightly bigger scale, but it's that simple. It really is, you know. You've got to have the right clients for it, and my advice would be target the clients who understand you. Whatever your ethos is, just target them, because that's what we've done. So it was huge, and we did a bunch of other idents. And on this shoot, again, Channel 4 is such a good client because their DNA statement, or whatever it's called, is to challenge the status quo, to do what other people could never do. That's their responsibility. So if you keep a copy of that in your back pocket all the time, you can just pull it out your pocket in a meeting if they say no to you. And they're like, go on then. So on this shoot, we had 10 minutes before we stopped for lunch, and we thought, oh, wouldn't it be good to do one where all the people are dead? We could play at Halloween or something. So we did quickly. And then once at midnight on Halloween last year, rest in peace. Yeah, Channel 4, amazing. Just such a good client. We're running out of channels now, sadly. Again, on the design by doing tip, that's very much an in-camera sort of thing. We do constant stuff for Nike where we're doing product launches, stuff like that, and it's fun. It's great because it's so throwaway. It's not a brand campaign where you think about it too much. It's there, and in 3 months they've outdated their own product anyway, so it's not going to stay for long. So Nike generally come to you with a product and a spec sheet, and it's like this football boot is faster than a fighter jet. Don't question that shit. Just believe it. I'm not joking. The only way to enjoy it is believe that shit. What did you say? Kobe Bryant is a snake? Definitely. So you've got to, otherwise it's not fun. So you just believe their lies, believe your own lies. Just get involved. It's fun. But this is just an example of the amount of stuff we churn out through a process of doing a project. So this is just all the stuff I found in our sort of dailies folder while we were doing that project. And again, the idea was a fighter jet to start off with, because this boot is faster than a fighter jet. But then we turned it around a little later, and it became the marble, because it was for the World Cup, and we convinced them that they had to go grandeur, they had to go slightly different, they had to be broader appealing than just 15-year-old boys. So, you know, there's a bit of fun to be had along the way. But we're just always at it, like I say. We get structure, and then we work it out as we go along, and we fill the gaps. And it doesn't work for every client, I'll be honest, but the clients we've got, it seems to work quite well with. So it was 3D scanning to create these statues, which you saw a little bit of earlier. And the advantage of having your client 5,000 miles away, they don't really know what you look like. So you can cast yourself as... Yeah. I'm not the prettiest thing in the world, but I always thought I'd make a good marble. Yeah, anything looks good in marble, doesn't it? even that. So yeah, have a bit of stupidity, professionalism. Yeah. But channel branding, this is one of the main things we do, and it's, don't tell anyone, but it's the best work ever, because you get to do everything. It's from designing the logo, if you so wish, to customizing typefaces, to creating nerdy typographic systems that sell information, and then you start moving into animation elements of it, and then you'll shoot some live action thing with a crazy in-camera device. All that is yours, and it's amazing. Like Annie was saying, that on film sets, everybody's got their own responsibility, and you're accountable for that, but we just love this idea that we think we're good at everything. Probably not, but it's a really great world. And clients, you'd work directly with the client, and they treat you as the expert, which not all parts of the industry do. So, it's a great place to be, and we've done a load of Channel 4 channels. We do them for other channels as well in the States. But it's great. And the other thing is it's mainstream. It's inherently mainstream, which I love, that, because it's hard. This universal language that has to appeal to everyone, but we want it to be good and progressive at the same time. It's hard, but it's all about not trying to do too much at once. You always have to give a portion of what people understand, but then infiltrate it with a little bit of something, a little bit of weirdness, a little bit of change. Otherwise, you're going to bang your head against the wall and it'll get pulled or not get through research. So you've got to kind of gradually, cheekily get it in there. And the process is nice because we're learning more and more about this recipe that we're trying to build the universal recipe. We'll find out if we do one day. But yeah, it's a mainstream gem. But I think because of my background, I'm more into trying to make stuff that I think is really good, but also, like More 4 is probably the one I'm most proud of because it was the hardest challenge. It was quite a well-respected current affairs channel, and we repositioned it and rebranded it to become Come Dine With Me 24/7. But, which is what it is. But so that's a proper challenge, and I love that kind of thing. And it's always on in my nan's retirement home, so she gets to see it, and that's cool. But I'm going to talk about the Film 4 rebrand in a little bit of depth. Not got much time for depth. So Film 4 rebrand, which was the last one we did, it's generally an uncelebrated area of design, channel branding, which we like because it's under the radar and we can keep a lot of it for ourselves. But so it was amazing when this picked up a black pencil a few weeks ago, because we always thought no matter how good it is in channel branding, it's not respected, but I was wrong. But first I'll show a few idents and then I'll talk about it. So that's a select five of the idents. We did, I think, those are the locations, and there was 3 possible endings for each ident as well. So it's like a system within a system. There's the idents, and you also do an on-screen presentation system for any channel brand, which is how the information comes up. And this was the one that supported that.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh. Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
So we knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to just celebrate filmcraft. It's, Film 4 is such a good brand across the world, even though it's a British brand, everybody knows it, and it was important to just celebrate filmcraft as well as we could, and we wanted a contemporary version of the classic celluloid film strip. So, as with 4.7, it starts out with a mobile phone camera, 2 speakers, a cat pencil sharpener, I think it is, and a few bits of cardboard. And you try stuff out, and then suddenly, oh, hang on, there's something working here. You tidy that up for the sake of a pitch. So we just projected it into a bit of 3D space here. And again, this was enough to get us over the line. But it's worth saying on this one, we weren't asked to pitch on the idents. We went in for the brief and they said, we're refreshing Film 4, but we're doing the idents in-house. So you just come back with a treatment for the brand and the on-screen presentation system, but we ignored that and came back with a treatment for the idents and not the on-screen presentation system, because we knew what the on-screen presentation system should just follow the idents. And it got through. It could have backfired, but in the end, we ended up doing everything. So if you see, what's the saying? See an inch, take a mile. What sort of works. So again, the brand system, get a little bit freaky with this, and we wanted to refresh it but not change it, so we just inverted the logo, so it was about the stroke element, but without losing the recognizability. And again, these type systems, this is as exciting as going to California and shooting the idents, because it's little increments of change on TV. So this is based on the title, to keep kind of a movie poster-esque layout. The title is based on a screen space rather than the length of the title, so it conditions itself sort of tall titles max out on height, long titles max out on width first, so that any film gets the same screen time, the same billing, because it should. So into the shoot, the technical and art direction, again, the doing part is our favourite thing, so it's just nerding out over how the camera's going to work. So for that, the camera just passes through a scene, but it has to get right above it and right below it. And it's as simple as that, and then you just loop that back to back on top of itself. There's no massive visual effects involved. It's just a camera technique where you go above, below. And then the art direction, where we watched 1 million films, and we built those worlds from the films that we watched. Nearly everything in any scene is picked from a different film, so it was that extra layer that would give it some longevity to run for hopefully a good 4 or 5 years. And that's where being a kind of collective or a studio as we are works, because if I was a solo director, I'd never have been able to cover the amount of films that we did. So the staircase was the first one we did because it was the guinea pig, because we didn't quite know what we were doing. We had all these diagrams and stuff, but we'd not tried it properly. So we shot the staircase in Brighton early, and that's something we do often, is we'll do a development, a guinea pig, so that the client and we feel more comfortable with it when we go to California or we start building sets. So it's just buying a little bit of trust from them and working it out at the same time. So yeah, Grand Hotel Brighton, and it went pretty well, but we learned an awful lot from it. So then we convinced them to buy us some flights, and we went to California, 2 locations in California, one of which is this, which is a studio lot outside LA, where they shot one of the original Channel 4 idents, which is why we wanted it in, because it's a different angle of the same place. It's a nice little touch. But anything looks good there, anything. You know, it's just that light and stuff like that. Tires look good. And we shot in Big Bear National Park in California. And this, you know, we dug a hole. At this one, we had to dig a hole in the floor for the camera to go in. But all the stuff, you know, I'm breezing over it all, but there's so much stuff, like the art direction, the graphic design, the patches, it's all going on, and it's amazing. It's such good fun to get involved in. But because this is a protected site, every scoop of that hole that came out with the digger had to be checked by a Native American Indian to make sure there was no remains in there, so it took a while. I invented the wheelbarrow chair. Couldn't find a picture of it, but it's comfy. And we built 2 sets as well, because we had to build these sets because we were going to burn one of them down, and the other one we couldn't find the right location for. But again, it's just, we use traditional techniques wherever we could. There's very little visual effects. It's probably got 16% visual effects in the whole project. Everything else is in-camera, analog stuff. So this is, on the Poltergeist one I've not shown, when the doors get smashed open, it's not some fancy hydraulic rig. It's people with mop poles. And that's cool. But we pushed it as far as we could, and we even puppeted lights. So there's one where the gravity shifts, which is a kind of Inception ending to that. And so it's difficult to see the strings, but it's fishing wire, but we rigged a puppet system on a light so that we could understand how it would act under gravity, and through the camera, directing it from the camera end, you've got this. So the trolley's a simulation of how it moves, and he's trying to match the light to the trolley and the door. So there's just loads of fun to be had, trying until you get it right, and we could have just done the lights in CG, but we didn't want to. Probably should have done that. And again, the attention to detail, all these different bits. So that's the Ghostbusters trolley, obviously, and that's our trolley, and it's like every bottle and every plate that's on it, and the napkins, the tablecloth is all specced. So that's the Ghostbusters reference in that scene, but also in that scene, the way the trolley moves is a kind of Inception, Titanic thing. The corridor and the room number are The Shining, the decor is Grand Budapest Hotel, the door motion, they're from Poltergeist, the fire and the shoes are from Barton Fink, and I could go on and on. There's 116, I think, film references in the idents. So without the films, the idents wouldn't exist, which was the kind of the sell. And we did set it on fire at the end. So that was nice. And it was ruined, but it kind of looked better. So as I say, yeah, the shoot, that was it. Here's a little making of film. Probably could have just played this instead of talking the whole time. And I'm over time. I've got 2 more minutes to tell a story. Yeah, someone nodding. I'll take that. Oh, the audio, that's important as well. It is. We work with partners to do that. And it's bigger than the visual. You know, good audio can make an average visual look good, but it doesn't work the other way around, so audio people are good. But while we're at the National Geographic Society, it reminded me of the single best piece of design thinking I've ever been party to. So we were sat in a pub next to Victoria Park about 9 years ago, and they were setting up the stuff for Lovebox or Field Day, and we had tickets for it. And they were just bringing all the fences in, and George Winteringham, a friend, said, "Let's bury some booze." And we were like, "What are you talking about, idiot?" And I'm like, "Oh no, let's bury some booze because we won't have to queue up in any of those nasty queues and drink Fosters." So off we went. We went to a corner shop, bought some mezcal, 4 bottles of mezcal, and we got a guitar case with a spade in, and we wandered into the park and had pretend picnics and buried booze, and people's faces when they see you liberating your tequila or mezcal out the floor in those places when everyone's depressed and is the best thing ever, and we've been doing it every year since. So it's a secret that I've let you into. But I think I've got one more thing, but I think I've run out of time. Keep going, yeah? All right. So finally, somebody else's work. Like I say, we don't do personal projects, and that's not me being all like, "Oh, fucking love money," and all that shit. But it's because I don't think I'd be very good at them. I don't know about anyone else, but they're amazing. And when people nail them, they nail them so well. And you know when you see something where you're just like, no matter how long I sat in a room, I could never come up with that shit, and you're just like, fucking amazing. You realise you're nowhere near where a lot of people are and where you could be. And the sentiment of this piece by Encyclopedia Pictura, who are probably as different as us as any design studio gets, we're all kind of like highly strung cliches working in Hackney, and these guys work on a commune, which is all kind of naturally powered in California. But it's a film called How Will You Create the Universe? And it just kind of reminds me how lucky we are to just be adding our little tweaks to the world every day, day in, day out, and just hopefully making it a slightly better designed place.
How will it be when you can choose what you turn into time to grow? What kind of creature are you? Feathers or fins or snarls or grins? Would you rather hunt or gather? So why does this trumpet such big and tall city hall? Where do we go from here? When we lift off this planet? What lies above?